Live from Mike Miley Stadium, we welcome you to Crescent City Sports production of high school playoff baseball in the LHSAA. It's game one of this best-of-3 Division I Select quarterfinal series between the Archbishop Rummel Raiders and the Alexandria Senior High Trojans. I'm Jude Young, joined by the coach, Kenny Frisang, with us this weekend to help us break down all this great quarterfinal action, another series in D1 Select, and these Archbishop Rummel Raiders, champions of the Catholic League, also known as 9-5A. By 2 whole games, Frank Cazzo has an excellent squad.
Well, you know, he really seasoned these guys last year, and what a great ball game that state championship was last year. Could have gone either way, and the Raiders had their chances. But, you know, that's just rebounded to this year, and, you know, great teams respond to that. You know, they don't forget about what they did wrong last year, and they will make those corrections. And so far this year, they have. Yeah, that 1-0 loss to Jesuit in the state final still stings, but certainly a motivator for the Raiders. They've played very well this year, and they face in this series a young Ash squad that finished second in District 2 5A behind West Monroe by just a game. They've had a good year at 17-10, and they're a young squad. It stands out as soon as you look at their roster. Well, I mean, their roster is small. And then I noticed they only had 3 seniors. So out of like 18 or 19 players, there's 3 seniors. Man, that just bids very well for these guys for future years.
And a very good coach in Greg Briggs, who's been a coach of the year in the state from his time at Live Oak, now coaching at home in his hometown. For the Trojans, who were seeded 6th, the Raiders seeded 3rd in this one. And we can take a quick look at the lineups for these two teams. Of course, the road team in game one, the Trojans will bat first, and they'll have this lineup out there with E.J. Scott, the second baseman, followed by Miguel Magalon, the left fielder, and the 3-hole hitters, Kay Nexteen, the third baseman. The cleanup man is their catcher, Braden Rashal, followed by Grayson Thibodeau, the first baseman, and Joseph Bayonne, the designated hitter for Ash. Bottom 3 in the order, Jackson Ross, the shortstop, Matthew Crenshaw, the right fielder, and Chase Palmer is the center fielder, batting 9th. On the mound today for Alexandria is a guy that has pitched a lot of innings this year, Ben Eskew, who's a senior, one of those seniors, so going for experience, the Trojans to start things off on the rubber.
Yeah, it looks like they have 3 main guys that they use, and to me it doesn't appear that he is the top guy, but he's certainly one of their top 3, and, you know, with the Raiders throwing Amnesibia, it may not be a bad move on his part to maybe try and pick up a win tomorrow against Rummel's second or third pitcher.
Great move here at Mike Miley Stadium to honor the state champions in Division I softball for the very first time. The Chipmunks of Archbishop Chappelle bringing home the title in a thriller against John Curtis, and they're being honored right now. Kayla Giardina, the MVP, outstanding pitcher heading to Southern Miss, and we certainly congratulate the sister school of Archbishop Rummel, Chappelle, for their great accomplishment.
Absolutely. Anytime you're a state champion, you've worked hard, you've played great competition, and you put it together when you had to put it together. That's just wonderful, and congratulations to them. And I'm showing my age here. I remember when our Catholic girls' schools did not play softball. They played cabbage ball back in the late 70s, early 80s.
That is a throwback. I remember playing cabbage ball in grade school, you know.
Right.
That's the only time I didn't know that was a thing other than that on the high school level, but there we go. Of course, softball so popular right now, and that lifts the popularity of baseball as well on the youth level. It's as big and vibrant for both boys and girls as ever.
Oh, absolutely. I love watching good girls softball on TV. Man, they can play.
Fast pace, and we had a great regular season game where we were able to bring you Chappelle and Mount Carmel. The Chipmunks able to beat their rival Cubs in the quarterfinals on the way to beating another district foe for the championship over in Sulphur, where these two teams are trying to reach with a victory in this best-of-3 series. And we look at the lineup for the Raiders. It'll be Ruben Ramirez, the left fielder, leading off, followed by Mikey Ryan, the shortstop, batting second. Gavin Kennedy in right field in the 3-hole. Middle 3, Evan Berg, the center fielder, is the cleanup man, followed by Aiden Gerard, the first baseman, and Gavin Nix, the third baseman. Bottom 3, Lenny Klein behind the plate. Giancarlo Arancibia, who you mentioned, batting for himself, and Ian Smith is the designated hitter for the Raiders, and Frank Cazzo, who's had great success no matter where he's been as a head coach.
What a great coach. You know, we we have done such a great job at Rummel of not only producing great athletes, but there's so many of us that went on to coach and played different places. And that's a credit to Coach Snyder. That's a credit to all the assistant coaches that helped him through the years, Wally Pontiff, George Ryan, Coach Whitman. I mean, just great people that has been surrounded with the Rummel program, and it just continues today.
And we'll be talking a lot about the Rummel starter, the Tulane signee, Giancarlo Arancibia. He's been phenomenal this year, and he gives them a great chance every time he's out there. And when he's out there, they expect to win.
Not only do they expect to win, they expect him to go to distance.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not worried about a bullpen when he's out there. And he shows up to compete. Even when he may be struggling a little bit, he overcomes any adversity with his just tenacious work ethic and going to work through it and do what he's got to do to win.
And you can tell in his 9 appearances coming into this one, all starts, he's gone 54 innings. You do the math. Mm-hmm. He does go deep consistently in games. And we were looking at the matchup and mentioned a little bit earlier. Doesn't look like by the numbers the number one pitcher in this game, despite going with the senior throwing for Alexandria. There might be a little strategy behind that in a 3-game series.
Well, and it's like you said earlier, I never thought about it, but he's the senior.
Yeah.
So maybe, he may not be the most talented, but he's the guy that I want to go to here,
We'll have to pause for a moment here as we honor America with the national anthem at Mike Miley Stadium.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, let us remember that we're in the holy presence of God. Strong and faithful God, as we come together for this competition, we ask you to bless these athletes. May they give glory to you by using their talents to the best of their abilities. Keep them safe from injury and harm. Instill in them respect for each other and reward them for their perseverance both on and off the field. Lead us all to the rewards of your kingdom, where you live and reign forever and ever.
Amen.
St. John Baptiste de La Salle,
Pray for us.
live Jesus in our hearts. Thank God Almighty. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Well, we had considerable rain leading up to about 2 o'clock today, but it's certainly become sunny and beautiful for baseball. We have a turf infield, so the drainage not an issue there. The outfield in good shape, and we're ready to go as the Raiders about to take the field in this one. The winner of this series will take on the winner of the matchup between district rivals from Archbishop Rummel's district, to be precise. The 7th-seeded Brother Martin Crusaders with a 1-0 lead in their series with John Curtis, the 2-seed. A high-scoring affair last night in Harahan, 10-5, and it looks like they're going to be relocating here to Mike Miley because of the weather concerns for Game 2. You had the call of that one last night on Crescent City Sports, and certainly higher scoring than you tend to expect in Game 1, but an exciting one where the batters had a good time at the plate, didn't they?
Well, I was telling Lenny, who I did the game with last night, what impressed me last night was both pitchers struggled a little bit, but they battled their rear ends off to try and keep their teams in the ball game. You know, some very hard hit balls, some great defensive plays. Prather, the catcher for Brother Martin, probably did two of the best plays I've seen in a long time. Brother Martin was about to go up 3-0 on a base hit to center field. And as the throw was coming in, he deked the runner. He stood there like there was no play, and all of a sudden caught the ball and tagged him. And then a couple of innings later, Curtis had bases loaded with 1 out. And he kind of just nonchalantly throws the ball down to third base and picks him off at third base. And then that's when the next inning, Brother Martin got like 5 runs.
So those key moments defensively, even in a high-scoring game, can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, just so many men left on base last night. I want to say Brother Martin probably left 7 or 8, and I know Curtis left 7 or 8.
Big senior right-hander Giancarlo Arancibia warming up for this one, making his 10th appearance and 10th start this year. The Tulane signee has a 7-2 record and a 1.17 ERA. The numbers superb. 54 innings pitched, just 25 hits allowed, and 9 earned runs. He's walked 19 and struck out 87. I think that speaks for itself. He's only hit a couple batters as well, so he has command. He clearly has special arm talent.
Well, just a great pitcher. You know, I saw him last year, saw him a little bit this year, and just a significant jump in his ability, and just mound presence, and just commands the plate.
Bit of a smaller park here, a high school level park where it's 312 down the line, but symmetrical. 328 in the power alleys and 372 the listing to straight away center field. And it's interesting, we'll see if Ash can show some power, because again, you look at their numbers, you don't necessarily know them from another region, what kind of ballpark they play and whatnot. Only 2 home runs this year.
Right. So, you know, you never know until, first of all, they're going to hit Arancibia.
Yeah.
And then number 2, what's been the competition they faced.
E.J. Scott will lead off for the Trojans, batting .254 this year with 15 runs driven in, trying to set the table. Also has 13 stolen bases. 3 different players with double-digit steals this year, as Arancibia starts off with a strike. Batting from the right side, Scott. And Arancibia not wasting any time getting ahead in the count.
And that's what's impressed me with him. You know, he seems to be always ahead of the count.
Scott, another senior. We mentioned there are only a handful. And in the number 1 spot, trying to get things going the right way, and lays off a pitch outside, count 1-2.
Great 2-strike pitch, though, right there, trying to get him to chase.
That's the ability to work inside and out. Arancibia has been able to do that successfully here in his senior year.
Right, exactly. He's really gotten a great command for the plate, for the home plate, and good curveball there, almost chased it.
Appeal down to first, but checking his swing, as mentioned, Coach, is Scott. So he'll await a 2-2 offering here from Arancibia. And here it comes. And able to foul it off right field side.
Velocity seems to be good.
And some pitchers take a little time. Maybe the first inning as a starter can take a little while to ramp up and get comfortable, but this is the home ballpark and the most games played for the Raiders this year, although they have a campus facility. He's pretty comfortable here, even with that synthetic mound. But after getting ahead 0-2, 3 straight balls with the foul ball to Scott, who's worked the count here to start the game for the Trojans.
Well, this is a good leadoff at bat for the Trojans.
Full count pitch, and he draws a walk, so Scott being patient at the plate and getting on base as the opening runner in this quarterfinal series. That'll bring up Miguel Magallan, who is the left fielder, and he's batting .375. That's the best amongst the regulars in the lineup, matching Jackson Ross for average. Has 18 runs driven in this year. And it'll be incumbent upon the Raiders to keep Scott close. We mentioned that he has good speed.
And that was not Arancibia's best move.
Don't always want to show him the good one right away, though, right, Coach? Just keep him close, and then
you just want to let him know that you're aware of him. But when you need to make a move, you got to be able to show your best one.
So a miss up and in for Arancibia as Magallan steps back in. A little better move over and a dive back in for Scott. Good baseball programs in Senla, Central Louisiana. Of course, we know Holy Savior Menard is one that's had a great deal of success over the years. Taking all the way, and a strike called to Magellan to make it 1-1.
I mean, their strategy might be to take a strike, make Arancibia a throw strike, see if we can get him out with the pitch limit.
Makes a lot of sense.
Now, I'm not a fan of the pitch limit, but...
Well, it's so hard to tell from player to player as it's fouled off, 1-2 the count. You know, you don't know their durability and whatnot, so you set sort of a general standard of what seems to be excessive with the pitch count, and it doesn't always fit. It's not a cookie-cutter type of deal.
No, and that's the problem with it. You know, you never find out if a pitcher can dig deep to get an out.
A check over, and Arancibia to the plate, and going upstairs and again laying off. Patience by Magellan. Count 2-2. So we've seen Arancibia miss up a few times here early on in the game.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you get excited. You know, first playoff game in the next series, you kind of get pumped up a little bit. You know, let's see what he's doing. You know, how's he feeling? You know, into the second and third inning, when he's being able to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, that pressure gets to you when you know this could be my last start on the high school level as a senior. Exactly. So it cuts both ways, the experience and the pressure of performing, as that one's fouled straight back. Pretty good cut there by Magellan.
Well, let me tell you something. I can tell you, I haven't really talked to Coach Frankie, but, you know, if this team is not back in the state championship, they're going to be disappointed. You know, not that they didn't have a great year, but they're going to be disappointed that they're not back there.
When you win District 9-5A by multiple games, you've got a great squad with expectations. As that foul ball, will it stay in play? Giving it a look as the first baseman Gerard. Fry, the second baseman, also coming over, but it'll get over the fence.
Now, he's in the middle of the at-bat to the second hole hitter, and he's already at 13 pitches. You know, that's good at-bats by those two leadoff hitters.
So already a little bit of mission accomplished for Greg Briggs' Trojan squad, as Magellan following up Scott's quality at-bat. Scott with a moderate lead over at first. Another 2-2, and that's hit the other way. A slow roller to second. Lead runner will get in safely 90 feet up, but an out recorded on the throw to first.
Right, that ball kind of died when it hit the turf there. I thought it was hit harder than that, but, you know, they got an out. That's the big thing there. You get an out.
But a runner in scoring position for Ash for their three-hole hitter, Caden Eckstein.
Now let's see if Arancibia can, settle down here, jump ahead, and then make this kid hit his pitch.
Batting .362 this year. 30 runs driven in, so their top RBI man batting from the left side. First pitch he sees is hit well into the gap to left center field. Will carry and hit at the base of the wall, and the Trojans will take the lead on the sliding double. And just like that, Ash showing they're here to play. Eckstein gives his team a 1-0 lead.
Now, I did not like the angle that left fielder took on that ball. He should have been a little bit deeper and running right toward that light pole, but he kind of ran toward the center fielder a little bit. You got to have a little better angle to be able to get to that ball.
A slicing ball the other way tends to have that banana effect more towards the line. But either way, probably drops in for the double and definitely gives Ash the lead. And looking for more is the cleanup man, Raiden Rashal, Trojans catcher. .311 average on the year, one of the two homers on the roster. And he's driven in 19. Base hit here could double the early advantage for Ash with only one out. Off-speed pitch for a strike for Arancibia.
Started off curveball there. Great pitch, started at the batter, broke it over the plate. Call that a knee buckler.
Pretty good looks here early for Ash against Arancibia. Will try to bear down, again goes with the curve and finds the strike zone.
Now let's see what he does here. You know, I would probably like to go on the outside part of the plate, almost in the left-handed batter's box with something hard here, see if he chases it, and that's where he's setting up.
0-2. And upstairs as well, and got the swinging strikeout, his first of the game.
So that's a great job of setting the hitter up. He throws him two curveballs, changing planes, going down, then he comes up with a fastball at eye level. That's great pitching right there.
So Grayson Thibodeau with a 2-out RBI opportunity for Ash, a .310 hitter this year, with 15 driven in. Eckstein, the runner at second, who gave his team this early 1-0 lead. Couple looks from Arancibia back there and to the plate and blows it past him.
You know, a couple of these Ash hitters, I mean, they look like they could go play freaking linebacker in football. Jesus. I mean, they're huge.
You like to have those big guys in the middle of the order because when they connect, good things happen.
Yeah.
Arancibia ahead. And has one hit up the middle, but Ryan able to field it behind the bag and
nice
throw.
Play.
Very well done for Mikey Ryan, the LSU signee, as Rummel gets out of it after giving up a run on the Caden Eckstein double. And a good start for the visitors from Alexandria as we're through a half inning, and we'll look at this counterpart for the right-hander, Giancarlo Arancibia. And we mentioned that he's a senior, and he's somebody that obviously has the trust of his veteran head coach. Looking at Ben Eskew and his numbers, he has made now 11 starts counting today all of the year and 13 appearances in total. 7-3 record and a 4.25 ERA. 54 and a third innings pitched, 65 hits given up, 40 runs, 33 of them are earned, 13 walks, and 33 strikeouts. So seems like he's around the plate. He's going to try to challenge hitters.
Right. He's going to be putting the ball in play. I don't think he's going to have a lot of strikeouts, particularly with this Raider lineup. Watching him throw right now, he doesn't seem to have great velocity. He's probably, low to mid 80s. Very hittable for the Rummel crew. Just see what happens with his strikes. When you're pitching ahead, it becomes easy. Now let's see how he gets started against the Raider lineup.
Ruben Ramirez, Mike Ryan, and Gavin Kennedy, the first three due up for the Raiders to face the starter for Alexandria. Again, winner moves on in this best of three series to play in the state semifinals, and that's a Final Four where it's win or go home. So at least you get a mulligan in these type of series, and certainly the start that Ash was looking for, getting on the board early against Rummel. Tell me your thoughts about this Raider lineup and how they have produced consistently this year. They obviously hit well from top to bottom and execute well to be as successful as they've been on the season.
Well, again, when you have a seasoned crew, a crew that's been through it, a crew, when you're facing Brother Martin, Jesuit, Holy Cross, you go play Catholic. I mean, you go play all the top teams. You feel like you can walk on the field and you play with anybody. And that's where their confidence is right now.
Ruben Ramirez will lead off for the Raiders, an excellent two-sport star and a Loyola commitment for baseball. Fine wide receiver as well on the Raider football team and a district MVP, telling you how well he has performed this year. First pitch he sees, way outside.
Really dropped down on that curveball. That release point is not the same release point for the fastball. I think for hitters, that might be something for them to pick up.
We'll see if the Raiders can hone in on that early, laying off on a pitch that stays up. Ramirez with a 2-0 count in his favor.
Good leadoff hitter. If it's a perfect pitch, he chases it. If it's not a perfect pitch, he'll make him throw another one.
2-0 just off the plate. So right away, 3-0 count to the first hitter.
Now, there's nothing more frustrating than to jump up 1-0, and now you run 3-0 to the leadoff hitter.
You think he's taking all the way, and he is, and lays off a pitch around the letters. So just like we saw Ash start off the game with the bases on balls, Ramirez returns the favor for the Raiders.
This is why I have gray hair, because of my pitches, walking people when we would have leads.
Mikey Ryan to the plate. We mentioned he is an LSU signee, excellent athlete, and a .333 hitter on the year with 2 homers and 16 driven in. Keep an eye on Ramirez.
For those that don't know, first runners on first base, they watch the pitcher's back heel. If that back heel comes up, he's throwing to first base. If it don't come up, he's going to the plate. So that's what good base runners concentrate on right here.
27 stolen bases this year for Ramirez, caught 5 times, so he's aggressive out there. But you got to wait, you'd think, to see if this pitcher can throw a strike if you're Rummel.
Because right now, I mean, I'm thinking about taking a strike now. If I'm Mikey, just, hey, make him throw me a strike.
Ryan, a senior, has been highly recruited for many years. He was a star talent at a very young age, and everybody could see it.
Well, just an all-around ball player. Good arm, good glove, can swing it, can run the bases, everything you want.
I know at LSU they're excited about his glove and his potential to contribute early, which says a lot. As the defending national champions, that curveball never did hit him right in the back, and he will trot on down the first base as the Raiders get the first 2 runners on.
That's another gray hair maker when you hit batters with curveballs.
Very interesting, too, when you come to a new ballpark visiting. You have to drive, in this case, 3 hours to a place you're not used to playing. You get this synthetic mound, and every one of them plays different with the wear and tear. Sometimes it's really hard to be able to settle in if you're a pitcher, and maybe we're seeing that right now.
But you have to overcome that. It's like an umpire with a tight strike zone. You got to find some place where he's going to call it a strike and throw it there.
Just trying to find a little bit of control early on.
And everything's up.
Yeah. Close one there. The Ash fans in the stands wanted the call, but called.
No, it was up around his chin.
Yeah.
I mean, they're begging now. Good Lord.
He's been all over the place, up and missing badly enough, and you don't get anything close until you prove you can throw strikes as well from the gentleman behind the plate, as once again, that one not particularly close, 2-0 count.
What has he thrown? 1 strike out of 8 pitches? Or 2 strikes?
And you mentioned continuing to miss up.
Right.
You split the plate like that, it can hurt you, and that's going to lead to a mound visit here and a chance for Ben Askew to try to settle down a little bit.
And I don't think Coach is hitting the panic button here. I think he's just going out and trying to say, hey, look, calm down. They put the pants on the same way we do. Just come on out. Don't give them any more base runners. Just go ahead and make them put the ball in play, get 4 or 5 hits for them to score.
How often are mound visits, do you think, just about the psychology of a situation versus mechanics?
I think it's really more psychology than everything else. And this is what I tell many people, particularly when I hear other coaches giving all type of instructions to hitters and pitchers. During a ball game, you can't do that. All I really tell my pitchers is, hey, release point. Let's concentrate on release point. With my hitters, I'm always telling them, see ball, hit ball. Let's don't get any more technical than that.
So Gavin Kennedy with a favorable count. He'll keep his eye on and see if he sees something he likes here with the 2-0 pitch. Rummel in business after falling behind by a run. And again, missing inside, almost hit another batter.
Yep.
Kennedy, the 283 hitter this year, 17 driven in, and no particular reason for him to think about swinging the bat right now.
No, and I wouldn't.
Askew checking second and finally getting it over the plate. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Right. When you find that good release point, now you have to remember where that release point was.
Good speed on the bases for the Raiders. And a good swing, but popping it up. Got under it on the right side of the infield. And E.J. Scott will squeeze it for a big out number 1 for the Trojans.
Yes, that is a big out for them right there.
When a guy's pitching up, it's hard not to get under the ball like we saw right there.
Well, and
to stay on top of it is challenging.
And you see a lot of kids will chase that pitch up in their eyes because that's the best pitch that they see. They see it the best.
So with one down, Evan Berg, cleanup hitter for the Raiders, stepping in. 318 hitter this year, 21 driven in. And watching that one go below the knees.
Kind of a flat curveball. Yeah. Very slow.
Yeah, very much a tumbler.
Right. Not a sharp breaker at all.
Deliberate from the stretch, and a line drive that's going to be a double play. Snared by the shortstop, Ross, on to second. Hit well, but if you're the Raiders, in the wrong spot for the double play. Massive moment may be here for Ash as they get out of it. After the first two reached without a hit, the double play wipes it out, and we're through one here at Mike Miley Stadium, 1-0 Alexandria, leading Archbishop Rummel.
Well, just a poor base running job there. The rule is this: if that ball is to your right, you don't go anywhere, and you check a line drive. You make sure a line drive gets down, and he took 3 steps before he stopped. So I mean, that's just poor base running. And, of course, it cost the Raiders maybe a big inning.
Yeah, when the ball's hit in front of you like that, no excuse. And it was a sharp line drive, but there was enough time there to react if you aren't trying to get too much of a jump there from second. You can understand the flip side of that. You want to be able to score on a base hit, and Ramirez with good speed.
But your brain has to go into a different mode on that. You know, it's got to go, check a line drive. I got to make sure it's down before I go anywhere, and maybe even take a step or two back to the base. Then you quit worrying about scoring, and you're worried about getting doubled off then.
So Aaron Sebia working behind 1-0, and the ebb and flow of games, always important. This could wind up being a very important moment early on, but we'll have to see if SQ can settle in a little bit more. Had trouble finding the plate, had a good swing right there. Meanwhile, Aaron Sebia, after starting off and giving off the one-out double that gave Ash the lead, looked like he finally settled in there for a couple of hitters. Second inning sometimes really what gives you the feel for where the starter is going to go the rest of the way.
Correct. You know, and let's see what happens this inning and next inning. If he settles in and starts being the Aaron Sebia we know.
Joseph Bayonne leading off for Ash. And we have a timeout, a little late one there.
Well, the umpire wasn't ready.
Yeah. 275 hitter Bayonne. 1 homer, 16 driven in this year. Really gets up on the plate. And bounced up there by Aaron Sebia. Wound up getting a really nice day for baseball. I know they have the lights on here early, beautiful. But you wouldn't have thought that just about an hour ago. Got started on time, though. Game 2 of this series will be tomorrow at noon if the weather cooperates, and it should, as Aaron Sebia gets the outside corner, count 1-1. You see a little difference in the pacing of these pitchers as Aaron Sebia working a little quicker and getting a swinging strike, too.
And he's throwing a little bit harder this inning, to me anyway. A little bit more velocity on the ball.
Bayonne, the DH for this one. Waits the 1-2, and a called strike 3. He got the black again, did Aaron Sebia, for his second strikeout of the game.
Yes, great pitch.
So Jackson Ross with 1 down will step in for Ash. Co-leading hitter on the season at .375. And there's some balance here in this Ash lineup from top to bottom when you look at the numbers. Once again, working the outside corner to a right-handed hitter and getting it.
Well, you know, they're in this spot in the playoffs, not because they're a bad team.
No doubt.
You know, I mean, they're here because they've done some things successfully.
8-2 in district play.
Right. And the only 2 losses probably to West Monroe.
Talk about crowding the plate as Aaron Sebia ahead again, 0-2. Ross right on top of it and then bails out, lucky to get that one off the end of the bat.
It looked like he threw, I don't know if he throws a slider or not, but that looked like it had a little cut to it. It had good movement on him, away from the hitter.
Don't you find nowadays people are going back to the cutter a little bit more for that sort of action just to get a different look?
A different look other than a curveball and a fastball.
Because it's the era of the sweeper these days, which is a bit more of a left to right kind of pitch. And a pretty good looking 0-2 pitch just misses.
You know, he was up in his zone with that curveball. You don't want that call to strike because you keep throwing it there, and that's going to get hit eventually.
That's a good point. 1-2 coming. And again, just getting a piece of it to stay alive up there is Jackson Ross.
Good at bat.
Two-strike approach is so important for hitters, the idea to stay alive to see another pitch.
Right, exactly. Maybe a pitch that they have a better chance of hitting instead of fighting off.
He doesn't choke up on it, but he sort of steps away, steps in the bucket a little bit, which you don't necessarily want to see, but
I got news for you. If I'm facing Aaron Seaby, I'm stepping more than in a bucket.
2-2. And finally, Aaron Sebia.
Yeah.
Ross battled up there, but winds up being the third strikeout victim already for the Rummel right-hander. 2 strikeouts to start the inning for Aaron Sebia as Matthew Crenshaw, the right fielder, will step in.
That was a great pitch. A little bit off the plate, but he had to chase it.
286 hitter Crenshaw. 11 RBI, batting from the left side. Alexandria got to this point by sweeping Riverdale in a series last weekend at Louisiana Christian, while the Raiders were able to sweep Carencro. The first game was a thriller, 5-4, before a run rule victory for Rummel.
And did they go to Carencro, or Carencro came here?
Carencro came here right to Mike Miley.
Okay.
Home fans in red wanted that one, but a 3-0 count here.
I thought that was up. Fans always beg.
Oh, no doubt. And sometimes it has an effect. But that an easy call for ball 4.
Right.
So after striking out to a 4-pitch walk, second of the game allowed by Aaron Seaby to bring up the 9-hole hitter Chase Palmer.
Right, now you got to get this guy. You got to get number 9. You don't want to go to the leadoff hitter with men on base here.
Crenshaw, not a guy you want to walk with 14 steals to lead the Trojans, and with 2 outs, he might be aggressive here on the bases. Decent lead, not going here. Strike called to Palmer. 353 hitter in the 9-hole. Speaking of that balance in the lineup for Alexandria. A little less of a lead this time by Crenshaw, but he's going and then coming back, and probably a good decision there. Up quickly looking to throw was Klein behind the plate.
Great decoy. I don't think he was going.
Cat and mouse game.
Game of chess, Coach. Game of chess.
A little more convincing lead this time, but staying put. And the outside corner found again by Aaron Sebia.
Right, good pitch.
Aaron Sebia can keep hitting that spot. Going to have a lot of success as he settles in today. About to throw his 39th pitch, though, of the game here in the second inning, trying to retire the side. Yeah. Here it is. And hit in the air to shallow right field. Drifting out is Fry. Now the right fielder Kennedy will call him off and make the catch. So the 2-out walk. Not an issue for Aaron Sebia and the Raiders through 1.5. We'll take the brief break. 1-0. Alexandria Senior High in this quarterfinal matchup on Crescent City Sports.
Well, the Raiders got to get something going here. You know, they got first and second. And what's so ironic is Eskew really wasn't around the plate. And he winds up only throwing 13 pitches in that first inning. I think he had 4 strikes.
High school baseball in Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the #1 Ford dealer in Metro New Orleans, must be a reason. Jude Young with the coach, Kenny Frasang. And, Coach, you've seen a lot of local high school baseball this year. Who are the best teams in the area? Obviously, Rummel is one of them.
Well, you know, it's the same usual suspects. You know, the good teams just kind of find a way and they just reload every year. You know, I was kind of impressed with Aug this year. The way I saw Aug play this year, they did a good job.
And I think that speaks to the depth of the district and how St. Augustine has had to battle over the years to be competitive. In the last 5 or 6 years, they have been plenty competitive in the league.
Absolutely, and I think once or twice they've advanced to that second round, too.
Did so this year with a first-round victory over East Jefferson, as a matter of fact.
Right, that's right.
So there are no easy outs in non-5A, that's for certain. Rummel trailing by a run. Aiden Gerard will try to get them going here in the bottom of the second. Again, that slow off-speed pitch.
What the public schools fall to is if you're a baseball player, you're going to one of the Catholic schools or Christian schools. You know, even the small schools, even the country days attract good baseball players. You know, so if you're a good baseball player, you go into one of those Catholic schools, Holy Cross, Brother Martin, Rummel, Jesuit, De La Salle. You know, St. Aug for the black community. I mean, that's just the way it is.
1-1 and missing in on the hands.
Now, what's impressed me and what's really helped Aug and Warren Easton and those teams is that baseball academy out at Wesley Barrow out there. I mean, that has really helped a lot of black kids in the city.
Between Kirsch Rooney and that facility, so many high school baseball games played at those two places, and the turf certainly helps at Wesley Barrow.
Absolutely. But let me tell you something. Joe and them do such a great job on that field at Kirsch Rooney. It is a pleasure to go there and play.
They certainly handle it with care and welcome with open arms the high schools from around the area. Anytime they don't have a game, you're welcome to come and play there. Bounced, again missing way off the plate with the curveball. Full count to Aiden Gerard. And we talk about on top of that with Xavier, Dillard, and Suno all starting baseball programs in the last 3 years. There are opportunities there. So that'll grow the game in the city of New Orleans.
And that's a credit, again, to that baseball academy out there.
So SQ lost Gerard, giving up his second walk in the second straight inning. The Raiders have had the leadoff man on due to bases on balls. So that'll bring up Gavin Nix.
So he has thrown 19 pitches, and I believe he has thrown 14 balls.
Nix, the Louisiana Tech commitment, has played second and third for the Raiders this year at the hot corner for this one. Waits from the left side and taps it foul.
I found the Raiders out in front. They've not made an adjustment to SQ's velocity. Two pretty good hard throwers last night with Curtis and with Brother Martin.
And when somebody's throwing, you're not going to call somebody a junk baller, but slower, sometimes it takes a bit of an adjustment. Waiting on that pitch and hitting it the other way, it winds up being foul as three Trojans give it a chase.
Now, you know, I do take offense to that because I was a junk baller now. It was...
I said I'm not calling him a junk baller, you see. Just in case I was sitting next to one, I wanted to be sure.
No, it's...
If I'd have been a pitcher, I'd have been a junk baller.
Oh, no
so
question.
I'd have been in there. You know.
I lived and died by the curveball.
It's not, again, how hard you throw it. It's how you can locate it and how you can deceive hitters. That's so important. And sometimes guys forget that and try to overthrow the baseball.
No question. And I believe that's part of the problem with so many arm problems today is everybody is concerned.
Oh, it's all about max velocity, and I think that is a detriment, especially to young players. People talk about, throwing too many curveballs, sliders at too young of an age. I just think it's trying to max out what your arm can do.
I was taught the curveball the right way at 8 years old. Never had arm problems because I was taught the right way. But I tell these kids, I've never had a radar gun. Hang on. Pick the
throw
first.
over.
Yeah. Never had a radar gun as a player or as a coach. And I tell kids all the time, if you can throw your fastball, your changeup, and your curveball over the plate, I don't care how hard you throw, you can win ball games.
Good mechanics, a good repeatable delivery is not only going to make you more effective, but keep you healthy.
Absolutely.
1-2 will come to the plate this time, and again, slow, and it gets there to the back foot for a ball.
SQ has not thrown a curveball for a strike yet. He's like 0 for 6. So now the Rummel hitters aren't even going to swing at the curveball.
Right.
They're going to take it and wait for a fastball. But the fastball hadn't been over the plate either.
Nix, 258 hitter. 358, I should say, and out ahead of that one again, trying to time up SQ, fouling it down the first baseline.
I don't know if SQ throws a straight change or not, but that would be the pitch to go with his repertoire here. He's hitting a fastball into the first base dugout.
There's no more effective pitch, especially to an opposite-handed hitter.
Correct.
Leading RBI man for the Raiders this year with 29, waits the 2-2 and able to stay alive.
Good at bat, but still way out in front of everything.
Yeah, you can see him trying to hold his weight back and uncoil at the right time. Still hasn't timed up SQ yet.
No.
Raiders have had 3 base runners so far in the game, but none via hit, a couple walks and a hit batter. And a swing and a miss. First strikeout for Ben Eskew.
Way out in front.
So Lenny Klein will step in, the Raider catcher. 250 mark for him this year.
Does a great job behind the plate for the Raiders.
And brings
Great
some
job.
pop to the lineup. 5 home runs to lead the club.
That's good.
And you'd have to say in baseball, particularly on the high school level, it's important to have a really good catcher who handles his business behind the plate first and foremost. And Klein gets a lot of praise for that.
You can't compete today if you don't have a good catcher.
Yeah.
If you don't have a catcher that can throw somebody out, they're going to run on you all day.
Handle pitches in the dirt, save your pitcher.
And I'm sure
Toughest job maybe in sports, right?
I mean, there's no question about it at any level.
1-0 coming. And you said it again. The curveball hasn't been particularly close today. Snap throw by Rashal from behind the plate. No problem there as Gerard gets back in.
2 places I would never want to play is third base because the ball is hit too hard at me over there, and behind the plate. I would be a great catcher or a great umpire if the batter never swung. Because I am freaking blinking, I can tell you.
Just those foul tips and balls in the dirt will wear you out like a stop like that. And an excellent job there by Rashal.
They'd be bringing me to the hospital after every game. No, thank you.
Good venue to view a ball game with the main grandstand, a little elevated, but not a lot of room behind the plate to work with here at Mike Miley.
Right. But still, we can see everything.
And for folks like us, that's the best part of the story, and for our cameraman too, the Merritts, Chip Merritt producing, Matt Merritt on camera for this one. We appreciate them.
While we were struggling last night, we couldn't get the doggone TV image going.
Yeah, they were working overtime trying to deal with a challenging facility to work at, as that one's tapped foul.
Way out in front.
Even on a 3-1 pitch in a situation like that, just having trouble timing it up so far this first time through the Raider order.
Right. And that's a credit to Eskew now. I mean, as much as he's struggling throwing strikes, he's gotten a strikeout. They've had one hit ball that went to the shortstop.
The big line drive double play, and just reaching out to serve it into left center, but an easy play for the center fielder Palmer to range over and grab for out number 2.
Now, that was a curveball that found the plate, and he reached out and tried to pull it instead of just waiting on it and going to right field with it. That's the major problem right now.
So Aaron Seavey will try to help himself with 2 outs. Hitting .261 on the year. 1 home run to his credit, 10 driven in. Of course, the Green Wave uptown here in the New Orleans area looking for him as a pitcher. But he's capable of helping himself at the plate. A good-looking guy when he steps up there from the right side. And suddenly, the off-speed starting to find the plate a little bit.
That was his fastball.
That was his fastball.
Yeah. No, we found a plate. It might be the first batter he's been ahead of. Might be the first batter he's ahead of.
He's a hard one for me to read, Coach, so it tells you what the hitters are dealing with first time through. 0-1. And a good pitch to step up and maybe throw to first, but holding on to it that time is Rashal.
His curveball, if you can imagine the clock, his curveball is spinning like 3 to 9.
Right.
It really doesn't have any downward break to it. So, as a right-handed hitter, if he's finding a plate, but I'm taking that pitch until he throws it for a strike. I mean, he's 1 for 10 right now.
Down and out.
But as a right-handed hitter, you want to take that slider, sidearm curveball, whatever you call it, and just hit that over the second baseman's head. But that's easier said than done.
And as Eskew continues to battle out there, and he can potentially put up zeros, then you bring in a different-looking pitcher that the lineup for the Raiders has to adjust to a whole different way if need be.
Oh, yeah. No, that was a good pitch right. I mean, it was a ball, but he's been away, boom, went inside with something there.
Doing a better job in the second inning of keeping the ball down as well.
But again, another 3-1 count.
Gerard, who walked over at first, and a swing and a miss for Aaron Sebia to run the count full. Looks like a beach ball coming up there sometimes to these hitters.
Oh, it does. Oh, my goodness.
Can make you look silly, as Eskew has a couple times here. including his first strikeout in the inning. 3-2 coming with the runner going, rolled over to third. Eckstein with time to throw over, but throws high and off the bag, and it gets away. Comes off the wall quickly down the line. So Girard will have to stop at third, and Aaron Seaby at first, and the first error of this game gives the Raiders another chance here with 2 outs and runners at the corners.
Well, I was watching a third baseman during infield for them, and he was having trouble with his throws. Of course, when it's the opponent, you always want to hope that happens in the ball game, and it did.
Jack Hurd will be the courtesy runner for the pitcher Aaron Seaby over at first. Hurd, a sophomore.
Now, that error right there, let's see what happens. Ash should be in the dugout with a 1-0 lead right now. Let's see if the Raiders can capitalize and get 1 or 2 runs here.
Ian Smith, the DH, with an opportunity to do just that. His team trailing 1-0, but Smith a 308 hitter. First pitch to him way off the plate.
Coach Cazzo must have a little respect for this catcher. I'm surprised they haven't tried to run yet.
Well, he's impressed in the short audition for us, seeing him for the first time. Pops up very quickly behind the plate. Has handled balls low well. And this in on the hands is grounded to third. Going for the force and throwing it low is Eckstein, but Scott able to glove it for the fielder's choice out. So the Raiders will leave a pair after a walk and the Trojans' error. So through 2 innings, Alexandria holding the 1-0 lead.
Well, again, another bad throw by the third baseman, almost got by the second baseman. So the key today might be hit the ball to third.
Yeah, we've seen on those 2 throws for Eckstein that hitch.
Right.
You know, that confidence not there when you see anybody on the field having to take that extra step, that extra hitch. So, again, just put the ball in play and try to make guys field it. That's the key whenever you see that. Just a reminder for both teams as the pressure accelerated here in playoff baseball.
No question. Different world, playoff baseball.
We thank all of our sponsors all year long, by the way, for supporting us. We try to do as many sports as possible and get a good feel for the New Orleans area. And we get great schools like Ash coming into the area that we can provide coverage for as well. And we want to let people know that coming out soon, more information on the Crescent City Sports Summer League. We're going to have a full and vibrant baseball league coming up starting in late May, taking you to a championship Final Four again this season in early July. And I think we're very proud, and Frank Cazzo of Rummel, the main reason to help us get that going, to help developmental baseball for the high schools in the area. And we've seen such a great response and commitment by those programs.
Well, you know, we all grew up American Legion players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I played on that team that will be celebrating our 50th year this year, on that 74 team that went to the World Series. You know, but times have changed. You know, travel ball has changed things a lot. And, seniors used to come back and play for their high schools. I mean, freshmen in college used to come back and play for their high schools. Seniors would stay and play for their high school. But, you know, now there's a lot of guys that aren't doing that. And so, you know, they've brought it down to a developmental league.
Awfully competitive summer baseball
Very
as far
so.
as your options, which is great for the players, obviously, first and foremost, as Scott, who walked in the first, takes a strike. Yeah, I'm all for options.
Absolutely.
For players and for parents, figuring what's best for them and their son, in this case, baseball. Obviously, softball is the same way with so many different summer options and travel options.
Well, I know travel ball for softball, you have that Voodoo connection, which is some of the best girls in the area, and I know there's 3 or 4 other teams just like them.
1-1, and just below the knees. Aaron Seaby giving up the earned run back in the first, and has struck out 3 hitters.
All right, cannot put the leadoff hitter on here. That's when things start to happen. Leadoff walks.
Scott battled back from behind in the count in his first at-bat. Gets a 3-1 pitch and taking all the way inside corner. Hit by Aaron Seaby. Love to see a patient leadoff hitter.
No question.
It takes the confidence to understand the role sometimes. And some guys are just built for it. Scott doing a nice job. Checked his swing there and fouled over the grandstand right side.
Well, a couple of things that your leadoff hitter is. He's got to be confident that he can hit with 2 strikes. That's the priority. Now you want to go deep in the counts, so a lot of times you're going to have 2 strikes. Be a good 2-strike hitter.
He's not somebody who's choking up at all with 2 strikes either, and grounds it to the shortstop, Ryan. Gets in front of it and throws in time. The speedy Scott out by a step and a half.
Nice play.
And real confidence in playing in this facility. You get true hops on this infield as you'd expect from a turf surface.
Well, yes, I mean, that is so true, but I want to know how the Jesuit players do when they have to go play on a regular field, since they play so many on turf.
That's true.
Now, I mean, I know there aren't many teams anymore that play on regular turf. But, like, if Jesuit plays at Curtis Rooney or if Jesuit goes out to play John Curtis at Harahan, you're going to be on a regular field. And I'd love to know the fielding percentage difference between on the turf and on regular fields.
Just the bounces alone. And I'd say there's a difference from turf field to turf field as well, based on the maintenance and the maker of the surface. 1-1 the count here.
I find this surface a little slower.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I find the 2-lane surface a little faster.
Right, especially now since they've upgraded in the last couple of years.
Right.
Aaron Sebia blowing that one past Miguel Magalon, who grounded out to second in his first time up. Facing a 1-2 count.
Curveball way off the plate, over the left-handed batter's box.
It's interesting, too, with Tulane that they, I think they didn't know necessarily the long-term maintenance because they were one of the first programs, particularly in the area, to get one of those turf fields. And it takes a lot of maintenance that people don't realize, because part of the reason why you want to get those fields is, lay it down and forget it, but that's not necessarily the case with the pellets that you need to reinforce areas.
Right.
You see those pitcher's
question.
mounds in particular will wear down pretty quickly, and you got to keep working on those. Magalon stepping out. And the 2-2 call, strike 3. Good frame job there by Klein behind the plate as well to pull it back.
Absolutely.
Second strikeout looking for Aaron Sebia, and 4th of the game so far.
I don't know how true it is. I've never seen this, but they said when they put the turf in at Chalmette after Katrina, they also had a home plate that they put on top of the stands. The turf for home plate. So that if they had to replace home plate, it would already be faded like the rest of the field. I thought
that makes a lot of sense. If
somebody
you have the
was thinking
space,
ahead.
With the roof like that, to be able to do something like that is interesting.
Right. No, if that's true, I don't know. I just heard that.
X-Teen, the only hit of this game is he had the opposite field double. Driving in the only run so far. Asked for time and now ready to go, and takes one inside corner. Aaron Sebia very comfortable hitting his spots on that side of the plate to either hitter so far, right or left-handed.
Right, he's been doing a great job of working in and out.
Going there again, inner half. Ahead 1-2.
And I'm telling you what he's thinking. He got his fastball out over the plate to this guy last time, and he hit the double off the wall in left center field. So where has he been today on this at-bat? He's been everything inside. He's going to see if he can pull it.
1-2, and pretty close there. Once again,
spot.
Klein trying to pull it back.
Good spot.
You can see exactly what you're saying. Coach saw the opposite field approach first time up and adjusting.
So now I'm going in on you. You got to show me you can turn on me here and hit me hard to right field. If not, you're going to swing and miss.
Looking for a 1-2-3 inning. And getting it, not able to check his swing. And 2 strikeouts in the inning, now 5 in the game for Aaron Sebia, who's starting to look like the ace of the staff you expect to see for the Raiders through 2.5 here with Alexandria up 1-0.
You know what's great is he's not only throwing hard with a good breaking pitch, he's pitching. He's in and out, he's up and down, and those matter. A fastball at knee level looks different than a fastball at eye level. That's two different pitches.
You mentioned his development here and really stepping up here in the senior year as well. What do you think's changed for him the most as you've seen him over his years with Rummel?
To me, nothing as a pitcher, nothing takes the place of experience. When you did it as long as I did, I just felt confident that I was going to go out there. I was going to go throw 7 or 9 when I was with Tulane. And, now, of course, just like he has, I've always played on good teams. That makes it easier to be that confident.
Mm-hmm.
My freshman year at Tulane, I was like, 9-5 with an ERA of 5. They scored 10, 11, 12, 13 runs every ball game. It's easy to pitch when you have run support like that, and he's kind of been the same way. But, he's going to go out and compete. He's expecting to throw a complete game. And, I guarantee you, that he was kind of angry that he let that kid hit that double to left center field.
But the right reaction for Frank Cazzo and the Raiders since then, as the Raiders will try to get on the board for the first time with the top of their order getting a look here in the bottom of the third. Want to let you know that high school baseball and Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Rhino Shield Mid-South. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino! Rhino Shield resists chipping, cracking, flaking, or peeling and is backed by a 25-year warranty. Get your free estimate. Visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com or call 833-233-7181.
Good Jefferson Parish kid runs that, Kevin Mamahat.
No doubt.
From Grace King and pitched for the Yankees.
Yeah, I'd say he was a pretty good ball player. 1-0, lifted to right center. Hangs in the air, center fielder calling and making the play, Palmer.
He was a good pitcher in high school, but he really got good at Tulane. He had a couple of good years at Tulane and threw hard, and, he was about 6'5", 6'6". I was very envious. And just
some things you can't replicate, right? I'm with you on that. How's the weather up there?
That's right.
Getting a little cloudy here, but I think the weather should be fine after we had some sunshine as we transition to Mikey Ryan's at bat. And he's first pitch swinging, so he must have knew we needed to get that one in there. And Palmer, a few steps in from the same spot, squeezes the second out.
Now, both of those hits have been to center and right center.
Right.
So they're doing a little better job of waiting and going the other way. But that wasn't a strike he swung at just now. That was a breaking pitch up in his eyes.
So quickly 2 down as Gavin Kennedy steps in. He popped out to second, his first time up. And first pitch swinging. Didn't square it up, but got it off the end of the bat where it needed to be for the first hit here for the Raiders.
All Mr. Eskew has done is he has gotten people out.
Right. And again, he's thrown off the timing of the Raiders so far. Rummel gets a hit out of not the best hit ball they have. That came off the bat of Evan Berg, but it turned into a line drive double play.
Right.
That's the one that ended the first when the Raiders had a couple on with nobody out. Keep an eye on Kennedy over at first, who quickly draws a throw over there. Just a couple stolen bases this year for Kennedy. But you never know. Hole to work with on the right side, talking about those right-handed hitters looking to go the other way so far against Eskew, particularly lately.
Right. And that's what you got to do.
And, when you take that approach and you see a pitch to hit, that reaction time will come and you can still turn on a ball.
No question. He's not going to throw the ball by you.
Right.
So, concentrate on going to right field. And, if you're not late enough, it might be a base hit between short and third instead of something foul. Or off the end of the bat.
Fondly to the plate, missing down and out. Once again, this series continues tomorrow at 12 o'clock, noon, and we'll have the entire series for you on Crescent City Sports, including a potential Game 3. 1-0.
There's that slow breaking ball, and they threw that one first strike. It's been few and far between today for him.
That was probably his best one of the day as far as the downward breaking action.
Correct, and location too.
And another thing you notice about SQ, he can be a little bit deliberate from the stretch at times.
Oh, yeah. Frustrating. It's frustrating facing a pitcher like this.
Hitter trying to get his heart rate down, stay focused, read the situation when they want to make something happen. Kennedy with a good lead, staying put. Another fly ball to center, and Palmer will wind up recording all 3 outs in the inning for the Trojans. So the 2-out hit goes nowhere for Rummel, and we're through 3 innings now. A 1-0 lead for Ash. So the Raiders have left 4 on base so far. Just the 1 hit to speak of. So Ben Eskew doing a job, the senior, so far for the Trojans.
Right. Obviously, this is a great choice for Coach Briggs because he has held the Raiders at bay through 3. And like you said, I don't know if they got a hard thrower or not, but let's say we get into the 5th inning and it's still a 1-0, a 1-1 ball game. They're going to bring in a hard thrower that's going to, again, mess up the timing.
And we mentioned Greg Briggs, who did a great job at Live Oak before taking over at Ash, and Frank Cazzo, a veteran coach who's won everywhere he's been in the area. And
right.
That just adds to the quality of the play you expect in a series like this. These are well-coached teams, and the strategy is going to be quality because these coaches know what their teams can do, and they scout well. You know, you have so much more opportunity to get video and get understanding of teams, too, particularly when you talk about the large schools, 5A level schools like these, too. And I think that's probably benefited the quality of play and where to position your players. You see a lot more shifts on this level than you used to, even when you have teams that aren't from the same region of the state.
No question. I mean, when I was coaching back a few years ago, you know, we didn't have all the things they have out here now. And my philosophy was, we're not going to change what we do. You know, we're going to be successful with what we do. So we'll have to wait, like, one time around and see what we're going to do with the hitters.
Braden Rashal will lead off here as we're already in the 4th inning of this one. Low scoring so far, and Aaron Sebia for the Raiders trying to keep it that way. Struck out the last 2 hitters he's faced, as a matter of fact, and set down 4 in a row. Rashal, his first strikeout, victim back in the 1st. But clearly a good athlete, looking good behind the plate, Rashal, and when he's in the cleanup spot, that speaks for itself as far as what he can do with the bat in his hands.
Right, no question. I mean, the kid's obviously a good player.
Awaits the 0-1, fouls it straight back, pretty good cut there.
Looks like he's a pretty good sized kid. Looks like he's about 6 foot. Probably 175, 180 maybe.
Aaron Sebia more and more consistently working ahead of these Trojan hitters as the game progresses. 0-2 to the plate and staying alive there. Just a piece of it for Rashal.
I didn't know if he had fouled it off or it was a pass ball. I couldn't tell.
Seemed the reaction was it tipped the bat, so he stays with another chance at it. And here it comes. I'm trying to expand that outside corner a little too much.
Well, he expanded it into the left-handed batter's box.
Now, sometimes you'll see a guy who's been hitting that corner get that call. I don't think that was his intention because he's pretty much been on the mid here.
He's been between that white line and the plate a couple of times.
1-2. Popped up. Will it stay in play? First baseman Gerard giving it a look, and it'll hit the roof. Now, I remember back in the day that we didn't have this netting here at the facility. It was chain link.
Right.
So it was a very different feel. This is a really nice, comfortable grandstand to watch baseball and has been for a number of years. Credit the folks out here for having a great ballpark to see a game. That'll be a tough play with Aaron Sebia covering, but a good toss over by Gerard, and the Raiders make it look easy on the right-hand side of the infield.
That's something you work on at least once a week. with that pitcher covering first on a ground ball.
First baseman, number 13, Crescent, Thibodeau.
The hitter just cued that up. That went off the top of the bat.
One down for Grayson Thibodeau. Grounded out to the shortstop, Ryan, his first time to the plate. Aaron Seavey taking a little bit more time after the sprint to cover the bag and throws a strike.
And that heavy air out there might have needed oxygen.
Yeah, with this weather sort of vacillating with moisture in the air, that makes it a little tougher. And the humidity's only going to get worse, isn't it, Coach?
Now, he missed that curveball by a foot. Yes, the humidity's going to get worse. I'm looking at the flag that's just hanging there right now.
Rare to see a no-wind day at a ballpark, but we do have that now. Ball in the dirt on the 0-2.
That's a good miss, 0-2.
And now coming right after him, called strike 3.
He got caught guessing. He was guessing curveball because he had no shot at that.
Had him off balance.
Right.
Real balance in the strikeout totals for Aaron Seavey. 6 in total, 3 swinging, now 3 looking. Trying for a second straight inning against the minimum. Going after Bayonne, the DH. Who struck out looking his first time up and falls behind in the count right away.
That's, he's doing what you got to do.
And working very quickly now.
Right.
He'll take a little bit more time after that particular miss, but he sometimes gets into that Mark Burley zone, as I like to call it.
Oh, yeah, no question.
I think he worked the fastest perfect game in the history of baseball. He was always a fast pitcher many years for the White Sox, but I still remember one of those afternoons when you're not supposed to be looking at a game at your desk. It was one of those afternoons when he pulled that off. 1-2, and a swing over it for him. A strikeout. That's 7 now for Aaron Seavey, and he's rolling, retiring 7 in a row for Rummel. But the Raiders trailing Alexandria Senior High, still 1-0.
I coached in Dallas for 10 years, at Jesuit Dallas and at Bishop Lynch in Dallas. And they would have baseball camps and clinics all over the place over the summer.
High school baseball in Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Lincoln is the only Lincoln Black Label dealership in the market. It's more than ownership. Its membership must be a reason.
And at this one camp I was at, they had tickets to go see the Ranger game that night, and I couldn't make it. I wanted to get back home to my family.
Was that the ballpark at Arlington?
Yes, ballpark at Arlington. Was that a great place?
A great place, but not during the day.
No.
It's an oven.
So anyway, that's the night that Kenny Rogers throws in perfect game.
Wow, what a night, man.
Please. And I'm not there.
That's a brutal beat.
Yes.
Now, he, needless to say, excellent pitcher in his prime. He pitched for the Yankees as well, I believe.
Yep. That was Pudge in his prime.
Yep.
Is
that still Ruben Sierra Wangan in that era? Were they still around?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, I haven't been to the new ballpark, but the old ballpark in Arlington was great.
I think the indoor aspect of the new ballpark makes it better overall, but the old ballpark with the layout was ideal. SQ still working out there with the 1-0 lead and missing outside to Aiden Girard, who walked his first time up. One of a couple free passes given by SQ, but only one hit for Rummel so far. Again, that slow pitch gets to the plate.
That's about 55 miles an hour. I don't even know if it would register on the gun. And he kind of bent his knees like, oh, my God, at the plate.
SQ would get ejected from a home run hitting contest for that pitch, wouldn't he? 1-1. And chasing after it. The strike on the previous pitch expanded the zone outside there for Girard and went chasing.
That pitch was a foot outside, and he chased it. Got to be better hitters than that.
Patience the key as SQ continues to keep them off balance. 1-2. hung that one out in front of it and jerked way foul off the sidewalk out there.
As long as it's not my car on it.
They'd have to hit one straight back about 300 feet to get them on.
Now he's right on the white line there. So he's really on top of the plate, too.
Wonder if that's his adjustment and approach. 1-2. And a good swing at it, but dies on that turf to short. Easy play for Ross and an accurate throw for the out.
And there you go. There's the breaking pitch. That's away a little bit, and he tried to pull it, and it's just a easy ground ball to short.
Yeah, we've seen mostly some wet newspaper kind of contact here for these Raider hitters so far against SQ.
Yep. I mean, he's just doing a great job of keeping the Raiders off balance.
One down for Nix. Only strikeout victim so far for SQ. Again, trying to keep that back foot and time it up. Diving to his right, Scott bobbles before throwing. A great play to stop it.
Great play.
Just couldn't get the grip on it well enough to make the throw in time. Infield hit for Nix, second of the game for Rummel.
No, that ball was hit hard. He made a nice play going to his right and kind of went to his knees and just connected the ball out of his glove. Great play.
So a base runner for Rummel. And Lenny Klein, who flew out to center, will step in. We'll see if the Raiders get a little aggressive on the base paths here with a runner on first and one out. Nothing doing here, bounced up there again. That's why I say it, because we have so many pitches that look just like that. Good pitches to run on potentially.
Exactly, but I mean, that's just what I don't understand. He's not throwing hard. He's not super quick to the plate. Unless they just know this catcher is great back there. I don't know. I'd have to find out. Base hit.
Pulls it through the left side, actually keeping it on the infield. No, it does get under the glove of Ross. And the Raiders with back-to-back singles.
That's what they need.
Finally hitting the ball on the ground a couple times as well with positive results.
Right.
So a pinch runner will come in for the Raiders at first base.
Another pinch runner, too.
So Dominic Mendiel, the junior, running at second. And Joel Morange, a sophomore, will pinch run down at second. Aaron Sevier reached via error back in the second inning.
Right.
One good swing for Aaron Sevier. Could tie the game or better, trying to help himself.
Correct.
This so far having the feel of a tight playoff baseball game where one moment could flip the game. SQ with 71 pitches thrown so far. Still trying to keep the shutout. And the slimmest of leads. First pitch to his counterpart is a strike.
Off the plate. You know, I don't want to be swinging at that pitch.
Mirage, the pinch runner at second. Mendiel pinch running at first. Bouncer up there in the opposite batter's box again. 1-1 the count.
Great block by that catcher. I mean, he was literally behind the left-handed batter's box blocking that.
He's having a perfect game, I'd say, back there.
Yes, no question.
Handling his business for Ash. First baseman playing behind the runner. Down at first.
Had a way to lay off of that pitch. That's what you got to do, that pitch, that curveball that starts out the plate and is breaking away.
Even if you didn't like a call earlier in that bat, you still have to trust your eye until proven otherwise, right, Coach?
Absolutely. You know, you know your strike zone. You know what you're capable of hitting. And that would have been a reach of the arms and a little lazy ground ball, a fly ball somewhere, if you make contact with it.
2 balls and 1 strike. And inside, a miss to Arancibia.
But again, great pitch. He's been going away. Came in on him, and I think kind of surprised Arancibia a little bit.
Ian Smith waiting on deck for Rummel. 3 hits in the game so far for the Raiders. 2 from the last 2 hitters. Pickoff play at second and getting back in there. Mirage. Saw the shortstop Ross dancing behind him.
I wouldn't be surprised with a backdoor pickoff play at first base here, too.
And go right back to another one, bringing the second baseman in. So definitely making Mirage proof he's ready to roll coming out of the dugout to run. Trying to get a good lead with the 3-1 count for Arancibia at the plate. Keeping an eye on the first baseman, as Coach mentioned, nothing doing, and a delayed strike call, and that might have been beneficial for the Trojans.
That would have hit a left-hander.
I tried to be diplomatic about it.
Well, there's nothing diplomatic about that pitch. Good Lord.
So Arancibia back in there. Thought he had drawn a walk. Instead, we'll see a full count pitch from Eskew. Here it is, and swings through one high.
Yep, swung a ball 4.
Big second strikeout of the game for Eskew. So Ian Smith tried to be the pick-me-up for the Raiders. Getting to a fielder's choice back in the second. Frustration so far for Archbishop Rummel.
No question.
Bet a big 2-out hit could change things in a hurry. Another pickoff play, another dive back in by Mirage.
Somebody's got to come up with a big hit here. Get 1 run in.
Again, the second baseman will cover, so they've had both middle infielders sneaking in behind Mirage.
2 good moves. 2 with the shortstop, 2 with the second baseman. Good, quick moves.
Credit to Mirage for not getting picked off there. With the shortstop dancing behind him. He's got to keep an eye on the second sacker as well. Better pitching a couple that were not called strikes in the last at-bat, called off the plate. Okay.
You know, that's being inconsistent. That's not good for anybody, the hitter or the pitcher. Because it should have been ball 4 last at bat. Should have bases loaded with 1 out right now.
1-0. And under the hands.
That's not a strike.
Wow.
That's over the white part of the plate. Great pitch. Don't misunderstand me. But I thought that was in. This umpire has lost his consistency. He was pretty good till this inning.
Smith will try to deal with that, as will Eskew on the rubber. Instead of pickoff play. Again, shortstop covering Ross. Nothing doing. Waiting to get an update on the count from the arbiter behind the plate to be sure, not getting one. Good looking pitch there.
Two and 0. He throws a chest level strike.
Anything down the lines could potentially score 2 for the Raiders.
Correct.
Lifted left center. Shouldn't be a problem for Palmer, and it isn't, as the Raiders wound up stranding a pair after 2 hits in the inning. Rummel so far stranding 6 in total, and through 4 trailing 1-0.
Just a frustrating offensive game for the Raiders. Arancibia is doing his job. He's really settled in down and is sat down 7 in a row, 8.
As we check out what Arancibia has done, he has sat down 7 in a row,
right.
4 of them by strikeout.
Right, so he has settled down and throwing his type of ball game. Now, the Raiders have really got to get something going here.
Once again, we'd like to thank our series sponsor.
You can't wait too long,
7 Ks in the game and a pair of bases on balls with the 1 hit allowed. The only RBI in this game coming off the bat of Caden Eckstein with the double back in the first that scored E.J. Scott. So you're seeing 2 very different types of pitchers here with different ways to be successful. It's one of the magical parts of the game.
That's exactly right. You got a kid out there throwing maybe 80, 78, and throwing a 55-mile-an-hour curveball that's breaking away from the hitters, and they're not making any adjustments. So he's been successful. And you got Aaron Sebia, who's just settled in and has just been great his last 2 innings, 2 1/3 innings.
High school baseball on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Gibbs Construction, a leader in the construction industry in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast for more than 45 years, transforming dreams, visions, and plans into reality. Gibbs Construction. Bottom 3 in the order due up for the Trojans, still holding that 1-0 lead. Jackson Ross, who struck out in the second, will be followed by Matthew Crenshaw and Chase Palmer. Giancarlo Arancibia working with his team behind a run.
I don't know where that pitch is.
And he's gotten that call pretty consistently in this game through 4 innings, but not that time.
That's what I'm saying. The strike zone changed all of a sudden last inning.
The 1-0 pitch right down Broadway. Nick's the Raider third baseman, playing on the edge of the cut of the green on the turf, also known as the edge of the grass. To clarify, you want to say ball in the dirt when you have a pitch to the plate, but you get used to it.
Ball in the red. I tell my players all the time, play in on the green. Took me 10 years to learn that after playing on grass.
Arancibia blows it past up, maybe even above the zone for strikeout number 8. And he's dealing right now, putting pitches where he wants them.
Right.
Up, down, off the plate, and hitting the corners. And he's really looked good the last 3 innings.
He has thrown exceptional the last 3 innings.
Crenshaw walked his first appearance at the plate. Takes a first pitch ball this time. Mid-70s pitch count now for Arancibia. Line drive the other way, and a good piece of hitting there by Crenshaw as he comes up with the second hit of the game for the Trojans.
Well, that's a great hitting right there. That was fake bunt slash, where he fake bunted and then brought the bat back and just punched it to left field. Good job of hitting.
So as we point out, the third baseman's positioning, point, counterpoint, 2 well-coached teams.
Right. Now, if he's back in his normal position, 2 or 3 steps behind third base, that's an out.
Palmer flew out to right to end the second. Crenshaw the runner on now with 1 out. First pitch strike to Palmer.
I just don't know if Ash can get 2, 3, 4 hits in a row to get another 1 or 2 runs. I mean, they just don't impress me to do that.
And asking for time and not getting it. The hand back, Palmer. He's had his hand up for about 7 seconds and has to wind up swinging at the pitch. And what happened here? Did they call a balk on Arancibia? They did. Wow. Frank Cazzo immediately out of the dugout. He can't believe it.
Took away a double play.
First base umpire stopping the play, and it certainly would have been, too. Sort of a tailor-made bounce to there to Ryan. The Raiders shortstop. Instead, a runner in scoring position for Ash. And I think Arancibia was thrown off because the batter, Palmer, was looking for time for so long, and it's a little odd he wasn't granted.
But again,
doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to.
There's no doubt. And he wound up swinging the bat. That was his decision. Well, one of those odd moments in the game winds up benefiting Alexandria Senior High.
I would like to know what the call was with the balk. Did he not stop? Did he? I mean, I don't know.
So Crenshaw now in scoring position at second. Back to that 0-1 count, strike 2 call.
Yeah, that would have been double play. The Raiders would have been in the dugout down 1-0.
Then now Alexandria with, you would think, scoring opportunities getting harder to come by against Arancibia, with a spot here to do some damage, but Palmer strikes out looking. Arancibia, talk about poise after the balk, went right back to work, and continues to mow down hitters.
Right. That's poise, that's experience. Just let it go off his back and let me do my job.
9 strikeouts for the Rummel senior. Top of the order and a big spot for E.J. Scott. 0 for 1 with a walk. Fouled out of play, right field side.
I think struck him out, check swinging last time, I think. Yeah.
Actually, let me update that. He's one of only 2 hitters in the lineup that haven't struck out yet against Arancibia. He scored the only run of this game so far. Looking to drive in another.
Ooh, pretty pitch.
Frozen at the plate, Scott. You can understand why.
No
a knee
question.
buckler.
I mean, that started like a foot behind him and broke over the plate.
Chance for a 10th strikeout of the game, and a pitcher's pitch called just off the black. Close as you can get.
Wow. That was a better pitch than what he called strike 2 on against Arancibia last inning.
His ability to locate the fastball where he wants it.
It's outstanding.
1-2 coming. Little down that time.
Come curveball right here, boy. Throw a curveball.
Second hit of the game for Ash coming in this inning. The 1-out single by Crenshaw. He's the runner at second. Pitch to the plate. Coach, you got what you wanted. And good job to lay off there by Scott. Maybe a little closer you get the swing.
Right.
Scott continues to impress at the plate.
I don't know if I like this guy behind the plate. He wouldn't give the other batter a timeout. Now he won't ask for an appeal on the swing.
And Frank Cazzo dismissive going back to the dugout.
Right. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Why don't you do that?
Arancibia at the time was not anywhere near ready to throw a pitch either. And after the head coach goes to the dugout, his right-hander doesn't get the call. Second walk of the game for Scott. Third allowed by Arancibia. Bringing up Miguel Magalon, who's 0 for 2, struck out looking last time. That back in the third. Pitch count at 86 now, by the way, for Arancibia.
Yep, a lot of pitches today.
Well, when you strike out a lot of batters, that's usually going to start working up your total, and had to labor a bit in the first inning.
Now he's gotten that pitch the whole ball game. And these last 2 pitches he's thrown, he hasn't gotten them. So either the umpire is angry with Frank coming out, or he has just lost control of his strike zone.
I think you can understand the issue there when the balk happened. You're at least going to have the head coach want an explanation, and Arancibia didn't mess around, came right over the plate to get the call. Now 1-1 with 2 on. The pressure of playoff baseball on display here at Miley. Foul tip.
Good curveball.
Chance for both batter and pitcher. Catch their breath. 1-2 count, 2 outs. The check of second. To the plate. Swing and a miss.
Curveball.
Number 10 for Giancarlo Arancibia. Will get a lot of love from his teammates as he heads back to the dugout. Deals with the trouble, strands too.
So he's got 25 pitches left for these last 2 innings. I hate the 115 count. It needs to go up to 125.
Has there been discussion of that lately? Because I know 115 sort of stayed as the standard for quite a while.
No, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
So first trouble for Arancibia since basically the first inning of the game. He's stranded 4 Trojan runners so far with the 10 strikeouts, the 3 walks, and the 2 hits allowed. Ben Eskew still working the starter for Alexandria with the 1-zip lead. He'll deal with the top of the Raider order here in the bottom of the 5th.
There's action in their bullpen. I can't see who, of course, but
it's a tough angle. We can't see through the poles and the netting, but a right-hander looks to be warming up. And that does appear to be the case. Just getting loose right now, not throwing full bore yet.
Well, the Raiders have got to wake up. Got to wake up, and they've got to find a solution to this guy.
Trojans getting on the board early and trying to make it hold up so far. Ruben Ramirez, Mikey Ryan, and Gavin Kennedy due up here for the Raiders.
Third time around. Let's see if we can get to him.
Raiders have left runners on in every inning so far. So credit to Eskew and the defense behind him.
By the way, I love the red pinstripes the Raiders are wearing today. That's a great look.
It's a great looking uniform, I'm thinking, but when I don't see that Columbia blue, I'm partial to how good that looks. And this is a Jesuit grad, admittedly, saying that. So you know it must look good. First pitch swinging and a diving catch. What a jump in center field.
Nice play.
Great job there off the bat to read it.
Nice play.
And he's been good in center all game long. Palmer just making the key plays he's needed to. That by far the toughest for him. Chase Palmer, the senior. Maybe the best hit ball of the game for the Raiders.
No question.
But allowed out number 1.
No question. Ball was hit hard, just couldn't get down.
Ryan hit by a pitch in the first, flew out to Palmer in center last time. Eskew working a little bit more confidently and faster, too, and much more consistently around the plate as the game has progressed, as he's reached the 90-pitch mark. Actually, 68, I should say. I read the wrong part of the scoreboard. So he's been efficient despite the base traffic. Slow, and slowest. Hard to hold back, and Ryan couldn't do so there. Down in the count 1-2 now.
Well, if this hangs on 1-0, I would find my slowest pitcher on this staff to throw tomorrow.
Find somebody who throw with his other arm, right?
Just
to throw you off because it's working today. No question for Ash.
Let's get the knuckleballer going.
I haven't seen a knuckleballer in a long time. I'll say that. Off the plate, holding off that time with the bat, Ryan, working himself back to the 3-2 count.
And I love what Eskew has done. The Raiders have chased that curveball a foot outside, and he's going to it almost every batter at some point.
If it ain't broke.
That's right.
Full count pitch. Comes after him and lined in the left field for a base hit. Ryan ready for that fastball. 4th Raider hit. All singles so far. So a couple good swings here for Archbishop Rummel in the bottom of the 5th.
Right.
Kennedy, who's 1 for 2 now, steps in with that big hole to work with on the right side. And the Raiders string hits together. They did so in the 4th. Eskew got out of it.
It wouldn't hurt if we got a pass ball or a wild pitch here. That has not happened today at all with this guy behind the plate. He's done a great job.
Ryan stays put, swinging, fouling it back.
Way out in front. That was off the end of the bat.
So when you have a battery that's working well together, like we have here for Ash, Braden Rashal's been great behind the plate. And when you're putting up zeros, I think it speaks for itself.
No question.
Ben Eskew doing a job. Throw over. Not his best move, but diving back in.
I don't know if he's got a good move. You know, he's just been doing a good job. I mean, Rummel's not attempting anything. I don't know.
Point in the game where we may see that is double barrel action now going on in the Raider bullpen. Pitch up, throw down Rashal, and gets away anyway from the shortstop Ross.
Right.
Tough pitch to throw on there.
Right.
Rashal made it close. But there it is, the Raiders finally getting aggressive. Ryan with his 18th stolen base this year, second on the team only to Ramirez. Now in scoring position. 1-1. Bounced and gets away from Rashal. First time he hasn't been able to handle one. The wild pitch moves a runner over to third for Archbishop Rummel. Ryan now 90 feet away.
Is that the first base runner on third base for Rummel?
First base runner to reach third today, I believe, for the Raiders. Now the first wild pitch for Ben Eskew.
Now Ash, they're bringing the infield in here. They don't want him to tie it.
Well, with Aaron Seaby on the hill for the Raiders, they're playing it like they may need 1-0 to win. On the 2-1, again down, Rashal able to squeeze that one. Big spot here and a hitter's count for Gavin Kennedy. Trojans all on the edge of the grass here, Coach.
I don't know if I agree with that or not. Look at this.
Popped up on the infield. Eskew's called off by the second baseman, Scott, who makes the catch for out number 2.
Well,
the last thing you want with a ball in play there for the Raiders, a pop-up on the infield.
Correct.
With 2 outs, the batter is center fielder, number 9, Evan Berg.
So the 2-out pressure goes to Evan Berg, who lined into that double play. Tough luck in the first and flew out to center in the third. Runner at third, Mikey Ryan, who had a 1-out single. Stole second, reached third on a wild pitch. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Pressure on the Raiders' cleanup hitter. First pitch he sees, swinging and grounding to third. Exteen makes a good throw over this time to retire the side. So the Raiders not able to get the run in, and Ben Eskew continues the high wire act. 1 left on the base hit. And what else can you say about Eskew and Alexandria Senior High?
All he's doing is getting outs. That's all you got to do.
Simple as that so far. And trying to make that one top of the first inning run hold up against Giancarlo Arancibia, who's back out there to start the 6th, as expected for Rummel.
Right. I mean, absolutely amazing. Eskew has done such a great job with the Raider hitters. I mean, again, he's throwing 80 miles an hour. He may have really heated it up one time to about 82. Curveball's got to be in the 50s. And just has the Raider hitters all out of whack.
1 run on 2 hits and an error for the Trojans. The Raiders with no runs on 4 hits and no miscues so far behind Aaron Seaby, who, as you mentioned, 25 pitches away from the pitch count limit in this game.
And that's going to play a role. You know, I mean, you may have to go to another pitcher in the 7th.
Trying to get a better view of the Raider bullpen. One of the relievers for Rummel. Oh, and Nugent looks to be warming up. Not sure who the other is. but we'll keep an eye on it. Aaron Sebia may not need it.
It's a left-hander.
It is a left-hander throwing as well. Okay, we get a demerit, but it is a Yankee-style uniform for not having the number on the front of the jersey. So small demerit on a near-perfect Rummel jersey. Caden Eckstein in the box for the Trojans takes a first pitch strike.
SQ has just done such an outstanding job against a very good hitting Rummel ball club.
No question about it. Eckstein with the RBI double, the only run of the game. And behind 0-2, Aaron Sebia not messing around, coming right after him.
Aaron Sebia is not getting tired.
On the Raiders here in Aaron Sebia to keep it at 1-0. Rashal on deck for the Trojans, followed by Thibodeau. And the 1-2 just off the outside corner. Good-looking pitch.
I thought that was up. I thought that was up a little bit, but not a bad pitch there. It was off the plate, trying to get him to chase it. Now, you got to put it in play right here. You can't go to 3-2.
Pitched in on him after the opposite field double and comes back in and misses down.
Too many pitches.
You wonder how much of the strategy, the thought process of take some pitches here if you can at this point in the game, with the pitch count being part of the equation, foul to the screen.
I absolutely think they are.
At the meat of the order due up if you're Alexandria as well.
And Rummel has, 6, 7, 8 next inning?
Yeah, down in the order for the Raiders.
Yep. Now, he went up out of the strike zone out of that, and he chased that. So, good pitch.
Well, there's not a lot of breeze here at Mike Miley today, but there's been a lot of fans because of Aaron Sebia. 11 strikeouts and counting. Braden Rashal 0 for 2.
In the case of Aaron Sebia, good pitchers, if you don't get to them early, you usually don't get to them because they settle in and they start throwing the way they can throw, and he's done that today.
Dealt with minimal trouble since the first inning.
Right. I mean, his fastball has picked up velocity as the game has gone on. He started throwing much better curveballs. It's good pitchers get better. If you got to a Nolan Ryan, if you got to a Tom Seaver, if you got the good pitchers like that, you got to them early.
For the most part, he's been 0-2, 1-2 to these Trojan hitters. And speak of the devil, 1-2 now to Rashal.
Right. Great pitch. He has owned that outside corner.
This might end up being his last inning of work, depending, as he's at 100 pitches now. And gets the called strike 3.
Now, he got help on that one because that was off the plate, but he needed that. I think Frankie will start him next inning. I really do.
You just go to the limit, right?
And if he can get 1 out, if he can get 2 outs, that's great.
Third straight strikeout. Dating back to the strikeout looking of Magalon in the last inning. And a line drive. Talk about just what the Raider dugout wanted to see. 1 pitch, third out, 1, 2, 3 down on the line drive to center. Now, go to the Trojans.
If I'm Coach Briggs, I'd have been taken right here. Maybe even take 2. Make him throw 2 or 3 more pitches there.
Well, the strategy not working there, attacking that first pitch.
Right.
For Thibodeau is now 0 for 3, and we go to the bottom of the 6th, and the Raiders still looking to dent the scoreboard here. Again, just 4 runners left on base for Ash so far. On the flip side, 7 and counting for the Raiders as we go to the bottom of this 6th inning, with Aiden Gerard, Gavin Nix, and Lenny Klein due up.
Listen to me. Too many times over the years, particularly in Rummel Jesuit games, the loser will have left 7 or 8 men on base in a 1-0 game or 2-1 game. Great rivalry over the years, and it's just been...
Well, you just described the state championship game last year between those 2 programs. The Raiders had far more scoring chances. They just couldn't push that run across. Brady Schmidt was brilliant on the mound, now pitching for Delgado. Right now, as a matter of fact, he could be on the mound for them here in New Orleans in their regional tournament. But that was just one of those games where more chances Rummel. Jesuit got the 1 run and made it hold up.
And, if you remember, there was a base running mistake.
Yeah.
That really, and go back to that first inning with Rummel. Getting doubled off. How big is that now?
Well, this is a kind of deja vu that Frank Cazzo doesn't want to see. At least it's not a do-or-die game, but always important to try to get ahead 1-0
Absolutely.
in a 3-game series.
Absolutely.
78 pitches so far for Ben Askew.
What a great job this man has done.
Aiden Girard has walked and grounded out to short. And right on top of the plate, and thinking about those pitches that we've seen repeatedly, breaking away to these right-handed hitters.
I want to see is take a ball and hit a line drive over the second baseman's head. That's when you know that we've made an adjustment.
1-0 and not able to catch up to it again, timing off.
Well, I'm looking at him looking to flag in center field as he swung. See the bat hit the ball.
And the shadow's now over the plate. That can play a little bit of a role, picking the ball up late as well. Late afternoon, creeping in. That will go out of play left field side. That's the thing that's stood out. You haven't seen very many squared up baseballs by the Raider hitters.
Nope. Frustrating.
Just a couple strikeouts in the game.
Oh, yeah. That's why he's at 80 pitchers right now. He doesn't have any strikeouts. He has 2.
Looking for his third here, 1-2. Hitting his spot, but off the plate.
That scared the hell out of me because
that was probably where the pitch was that ended the last half inning,
That's right. That's exactly right.
Probably about as hard as he can throw it. He brings the 2-2 now.
There's that damn slurve that he throws. Just so enticing because it's a freaking balloon coming up there. And about that hard.
And you'll see adjustments in swing. Raiders knowing they're out in front of it, getting off balance like we saw in that swing by Girard.
Right. Now, I would move up in the box a little. I'll move up more toward the pitcher a little bit than what we have.
Not all the way in the back of the box here. And the check swing that gets past the mound. Scott will have to charge in and make a good play from second, and he does.
Nice
and
play.
He saw the runner, saw he had time to stop and field it for an on-balance throw. That's a really good read by a second baseman, E.J. Scott.
Correct.
He's been impressive with his work at the plate as a hitter, and he's made some good plays in the field as well.
Absolutely.
1 down for Gavin Nix, who singled his last time up against Askew. The Raiders now down to 5 outs in this one potentially. Need a base runner.
Pop up. No good.
This will be a play for the left fielder a few feet in front of the wall. And Magellan hauls in the second out of the inning. Bringing up Lenny Klein, who's also 1 for 2.
Again, this has been, a 7-pitch inning for him?
Yep. In position to go the distance here. With some really good arms by the numbers that could be held back if it worked out that way for the Trojans.
Correct.
Get a win and be in perfect position for tomorrow. Raiders trying to prevent that from happening, again swinging at the first pitch and out in front of it, foul. Askew hasn't had a 1-2-3 inning. Has retired the first 2 Raiders here in the bottom of the 6th.
This would be a great opportunity for him to do that.
0-1. Took forever to get there and called, I guess, a bit down.
I have no idea where that pitch was. I thought it was a strike. No idea.
Why I said I guess. Our folks watching the webcast can judge for themselves. Everybody's an umpire, right? Armchair somewhere.
And you're not a good umpire if you haven't made both sides angry. I don't want to umpire.
I would never.
No.
Umpire, referee, you name the sport. Thankless.
I used to when I was younger. No, thank you.
2-1.
Look at
and
this.
A comebacker to the mound. Easy play for Eskew to flip it over. And there it is, the first 1, 2, 3 inning.
Wow.
3 outs away, the Trojans from taking the lead in this series, but they'll look for some insurance as we go to the 7th. Didn't think that 1 run in the top of the first would hold up.
No.
Here we are.
But here it is.
And the Raiders will have 8, 9, and 1 due up on the home half of the 7th. But first things first here is Joseph Bayonne, Jackson Ross, and Matthew Crenshaw due up against Aaron Sebia, who's got 13 pitches to go before his limit. He has been outstanding with 13 strikeouts. Just the 2 hits allowed. He has walked 3 Trojan hitters.
Now, you're going to look at the paper tomorrow and swear that this guy Eskew was throwing gas against the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, the box score, it'll look like Nolan Ryan out there.
Absolutely.
Or actually more like Greg Maddux, considering how efficient he's been with 89 pitches here through 6 innings. But it goes back to executing what you do well and keeping hitters off balance, and that's what he's done today. It's been as simple as that.
I see why Coach Griggs started him. I mean, all the kid has done is battle. All he's done is get people out. Kept the Raider hitters off balance all day long.
And they've got pitchers now like Jack Lee, just a freshman with great numbers, most of his appearances as starts.
Mm-hmm.
And if they needed him today, Clayton Doyle, just a sophomore, ridiculous numbers mostly in relief. So one would think he might be a possibility if they need him, but Ben Eskew in position to go the distance.
Well, Mr. Eskew just proves the point. If you throw the ball over the plate, 2 or 3 different pitches, and you get outs, you can pitch at any level. At any level.
We got a pinch hitter now for Alexandria. It's Taj Boney, a junior, utility player in the DH spot here. Slot him in the 6th spot in the lineup for the Trojans. As Bayonne struck out both times against Aaron Sebia. Popping the mitt still, Aaron Sebia here in the 7th to get ahead.
Yeah, this is why the 115 is ridiculous. He's still throwing great. It's a shame you got to get him out at 115. I hate that rule.
Well, I was part of the broadcast of the game in this state that may have triggered it all. The famous Jesuit Rummel game at John Ryan on local TV that went 18 innings. Still available on the internet. Check it out. It speaks for itself.
The problem with that, though, is Emerson Gibbs throws a perfect game from the 6th inning to the 14th
Unbelievable.
inning. I mean, it's not like the kid was struggling.
Went on to pitch for Tulane, and a guy who's not struggling a bit gets another called strikeout as Boney sits down. He has baffled hitters, too. It's not just been blowing pitches by people. No. It's been locating with 2 strikes and freezing a lot of hitters at the plate for Ash.
Correct.
Jackson Ross has struck out swinging twice. Got a good cut there, fouled it back.
Now, if he starts the last batter, he can finish the last batter. I think when he gets to
That's correct.
Right. Like if he's at like 112, he can finish that last batter.
And that would be the good scenario here for Rummel.
Right.
Pitch number 108 coming on the black again. 0-2.
He's certainly not struggling, Coach.
Got help ready in the bullpen if needed, but doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Another good cut there by Ross. Fouled it back. It's only going to come down to the pitch count. Otherwise, Aaron Sebia is going to keep getting the ball.
Right. And should be. Should be that way.
0-2 again. Lifted, and that will go out of play. Past the Raider dugout and the grandstand right side. Still haven't gotten the angle on who the left-hander is because he's a little bit further to our right. And he hasn't turned around. when we look down there anyway. See if you can figure that one out, Coach. Foul tip.
You can't have 3 foul balls here. This is just going to kill him.
Timely at bat by Ross for the Trojans, considering. Waiting for Aaron Sebia's 112th pitch. Swing and a miss. 14 strikeouts. Wow. What can you say?
Nothing.
So this will probably do it for Aaron Sebia one way or the other.
Right.
For Rummel, you're hoping it's another 1-2-3 inning by the right-hander. So far, so good.
Now he's just humping up, throwing a ball by him.
Might as well empty the tank. He knows the situation as well as anybody.
That's right. Leave it out there.
And Crenshaw's the only batter. He hasn't retired yet today. Didn't get the call there at the knees around the inside corner, but Crenshaw walked in the second and had one of the 2 Alexandria hits. Back in the 5th, he only hit since the 1st.
Right, that was the fake bunt slash over the third baseman's head.
1-1 in on the hands. Another favorable count for Aaron Sebia, who could finish it off with style and a great appearance today.
Right.
This will be his last hitter. He hopes it's not his last appearance in a Raider uniform. No matter what happens today, the Raiders will still be alive, but they're going to have to get on the board in the bottom of the 7th.
No, the third base umpire made him throw that ball out for some reason. He didn't even look at it.
Frank Cazzo looking at it here, and we'll take it back into the Raider dugout. 1-2 with 2 outs.
Ooh.
Not quite able to locate in the back door. 2-2. 116 pitches now for Aaron Sebia. Bit of a delay here, and we get an approved baseball, and we'll get to it. Crenshaw, the right fielder, batting from the left side. 2-2 to the plate.
Get over.
Grounder in on the hands and should be able to handle it himself. The first baseman, Gerard, does just that. 3 unassisted. And Aaron Sebia winds up retiring the last 7 batters he's faced. But he'll need his team to come through here in the bottom of the 7th.
Right, and I want to say 14 out of 15, the only one that got on base was the fake bunt slash, if I'm not mistaken.
So impressive today. But the only run of the game so far for the Trojans, and they're going to send Ben Eskew, the senior, back out there. Aaron Sebia due up first for the Raiders, followed by Ian Smith, and back to the top of the order for Ruben Ramirez.
Now Eskew has 26 pitches he can play with.
Well, he's been so efficient, especially after early, that you wonder if it'll get that far without a bullpen call made at this point. The Raiders just need base runners.
Right.
We'll keep an eye out to see. Looks like Aaron Sebia has the bat in his hands, and he will be the first Raider hitter.
8-9-1?
8-9-1.
Now, if you coach Cazzo, do you take a strike here? You know, that's the question mark. Do we want to take a strike?
Well, again, somebody who only has a couple strikeouts in the ball game,
right?
You can hit against him with 2 strikes.
Right.
Got to see if he's feeling the pressure of the moment. He knows the situation, and how big would that be for a senior to come through like this and pitch a complete game shutout?
Against a perennial powerhouse.
As the 6-seeded Trojans trying to get ahead in this series against number 3 Rummel. Aaron Sebia reached on an error in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 4th.
After a pitch he should have walked on.
Takes a pitch and it's high. Again, you know you want to get base runners here. You're not thinking the odds that good that you are going to tie it with 1 swing of the bat. We'll see if he takes a strike. Takes one off the plate.
Now the question is, do you go to take a strike? If he gets on, do you take a strike with number 9 or do you sacrifice right away?
we haven't seen get me over strikes.
Right.
You can count it on one hand in this game.
Right.
And he wasn't giving in
3-0.
there and misses outside. So no doubt the bat on the shoulder now for Aaron Seavey. And we keep hearing wiffle ball references here in the press box, and that's exactly what it is. Taking all the way.
About 75 miles an hour.
I was wondering
and
if it's gotten there yet.
all he's done is he's been successful with it. I might take again here. I'm sorry.
He's not a thrower. He's a pitcher 100%. Swinging 3-1 and fouling it outside the bag on the ground. He'd been away. That pitch more on the inner half.
Yeah, that's good pitching.
Don't know if it was the intention, but it certainly was the result you wanted.
It doesn't matter. That's good pitching.
Yep.
I mean, he's doing a great job. It's kept us off balance this whole freaking ball game.
Key moment here, full count pitch with nobody out. Swinging, fouling it into the screen.
And you know what's frustrating is he's gotten our hitters away from like swinging at the ball. We're kind of feeling ourselves through the strike zone. And that's gotten us away from what we do best.
Another 3-2. Hit in the air. Driven. It's carrying to the wall and hauled in about 365 feet away by the center fielder Palmer. He's been a busy man out there, but he's made every play. That one looked like it had a chance off the bat, but stayed in the park. So a good at-bat there by Aaron Seavey and got a good cut.
Yep.
Just missed. One down for Ian Smith. 0 for 2. A ground out, fielder's choice, and flew out to that man Palmer in center. Raiders down to 2 outs. First pitch
jumped ahead there, yeah. That's what he needs to do. They haven't hit me yet. Why am I going to change anything I've been doing?
Trojan senior Ben Askew. 0-1. Hit the left.
That's enough.
Will hang up around the line a few steps away. And Magalon. 2 fly ball outs for Ben Askew. And Alexandria Senior High now 1 out away from a Game 1 victory. Ruben Ramirez trying to keep his team alive. Hit a sharply struck ball to center field. Took a great play coming in and diving to make the catch by Palmer. Also flew out to center and drew a walk back in the first inning. As a Loyola commit takes one off the plate. If he can get on, he's definitely a threat to steal.
No question.
But first things first, if you're Rummel.
Got to get on base. That's 5 in a row that Eskew's retired.
About to throw pitch number 100. Here it comes on the 1-0. And the front door breaking ball does not find the corner. Got to think Ramirez is taking at least 1 strike here.
Absolutely.
Mikey Ryan on deck. 2-0 coming.
Oh,
and
no!
A generous call.
Holy cow. That was 6 inches outside. Goodness gracious.
Give credit to Rashal for the frame job, but it took a heck of a frame job. 2-1 pitch hit up the middle, and maybe justice for the Raiders.
Right.
Hit number 5 for Archbishop Rummel. And they stay alive with the speedy Ramirez and his 27 steals this year on base. And now Frank Cazzo will call timeout to talk to his shortstop, Mikey Ryan. Key instructions going into the ear of the LSU signing. And we'll have a visit on the mound as well. 102 the pitch count for Eskew.
They're making a pitching change.
And they will indeed decide to go to the bullpen here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. The folks in purple already on their feet before Ben Eskew leaves the hill. He's going to get a lot of love.
What a ball game that man has thrown.
The runner on base is his responsibility, but
well, he cannot pick up the loss.
2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 5 hits allowed, but no runs. As Nate Awney is the junior coming in, a right-hander to warm up. Try to get this final out for Alexandria Senior High.
Now, he looks like he's throwing 90 after seeing Eskew.
That's correct. He is pitched in 7 games with 2 starts. Got a 2-1 record, 3.50 ERA, and 12 innings of work, giving up 11 hits, just 6 earned runs, 18 strikeouts. And he'll get the challenge here of taking on one of the higher rated players, period, in the state, in Ryan.
Now, same type of breaking pitch, but much harder. It's kind of left to right, 3 to 9 on the clock. But it's much harder than what Askew threw.
We don't have the heights and weights here, but he's shorter too, different arm angle, just a completely different look. So you can certainly understand the pitching move by Greg Briggs as you go through the order now for the 4th time.
All right, don't make fun of short pitches now, please.
Well, that's, and I was saying this too, having a conversation with work out at the University of New Orleans, do their basketball games and sometimes baseball, and it's 100% true that we've gone back to valuing the shorter pitcher who has good stuff because of the arm angle and the riding fastball. They can pitch up in the zone more naturally with what looks like a rising pitch from the hill.
Absolutely.
It's about time we short people got a little.
Well, I mean, there's no question about it. It's been, a few decades since we got any credit at all.
That's very true. Ryan 1 for 3 with a walk.
Okay. Let's see if he goes on that first pitch.
Ruben Ramirez can flat out fly over at first. Will he be looking to run? New pitcher, he's got a very conservative lead.
Yeah,
Nothing
he
doing.
Running.
To the plate, high strike.
That's up.
Wow.
Good Lord. His umpire lost the strike zone about the 4th inning.
And now he's seeing just the 3rd pitcher he's seen today. So good luck if you're Ryan at the plate.
Right, exactly.
He's got to find something you can handle. Awney gets the breaking ball right where you want it after that first pitch fastball, and the Raiders are down to a strike.
Yep.
Pressure on Archbishop Rummel and Mikey Ryan with Ruben Ramirez over at first. Got to get him around and home to keep this game going. Deeks over at first, staying put. 0-2 way off the plate.
Good pitch. Good pitch. Trying to get him to chase. I would have liked it a little bit closer, but that's okay. 0-2, you don't want to make a bad pitch and let him get a hit 0-2. He's going to come back curveball here.
Ryan deep in the box, trying to stay alive, keep his team alive in game run. Ramirez going. Rashal will not throw. Ball out of the zone, and the Raiders have the tying run in scoring position. 28th steal in 34 tries this season for Ruben Ramirez. So a base hit with the speed of Ramirez can tie it.
No question.
2-2 count, 2 outs.
And I'm going to make them throw him out. Because he's moving on contact here.
There will be no stop sign. I can't imagine in that situation. Ryan, pitch in the dirt. Rashal very quick out of his crouch to keep that one from going to the screen.
Great job that young man has done behind the plate tonight. Great job.
And Ryan, the potential winning run now, is battled back to a full count. Gavin Kennedy on deck. Got one of the 5 Raider hits today. Would like a chance, I'm sure.
I'd go curveball again here.
Second baseman almost on the bag before running back to his position. Called strike 3. And the ball game is over. Just the 3rd K of the game for Ash pitching. And a relief appearance to remember for Nate Awney. As he gets it done, strikes out Ryan, and Alexandria Senior High has stolen game 1. They played good baseball, and Ben Eskew got them to right before the finish line. 1 relief pitcher, 1 at-bat, all it takes, and the Raiders strand a 2-out single. And we'll have to bounce back tomorrow here at Mike Miley to try to win it. They'll have to win 2 games.
Right.
So the 6-seeded Trojans get the job done. And all the credit goes to Ben Eskew, the senior, gets his 8th win of the season. And for the Raiders, Aaron Sebia, brilliant. 14 strikeouts, but he takes just his third loss as he falls to 7-3. Coach, your thoughts on what you expect championship-level baseball deep in the postseason, big game one. We had that type of game, a 1-0 battle.
Well, first of all, let's talk about Ash. What a great job coming out here today. Not intimidated by any stretch. They come out, they get a big run in the first inning, and they ride that run through 7 innings and defeat a very good Rummel team. Ben Askew, cannot say enough about that man. I mean, he's just come out. All he did was throw strikes. All he did was get people out, and really suffocated the Raiders offense to no end. Now, Rummel, mentally, I don't know where they are mentally right now after struggling today, but they have to put it behind them and they got to bounce back. Sometimes it's easier to bounce back from getting beat 13-0 than getting beat 1-0. I mean, that really wears on you mentally. So, we'll see if the Raiders can bounce back tomorrow and try and pull out a doubleheader win.
Well, to try to get back to the championship game, they've got to win 2 tomorrow, and that series will be right here on Crescent City Sports, no matter whether there's 1 or 2 games, starting at noon here at Mike Miley. For Kenny Forsang, I'm Jude Young. Hey, this was a thriller, and hopefully tomorrow gives us just as good of quality baseball. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget that we have those 2 games coming at you tomorrow on the website.
And I'll be here with whoever's announcing.
It will be Kenny Forsang here for sure. Might be Lenny Van Gelder, might be Ken Trahan. I am Jude Young, saying so long for Kenny and our Crescent City Sports production team. From Metairie, once again, the final. Alexandria Senior High 1 and Archbishop Rummel, nothing. Again, the series continues tomorrow at noon between these 2 teams. Best 2 out of 3, and we thank everybody for joining us this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, bye, y'all, on CCS.